the building for our 11:15. Just a few notes about COVID protocol. Welcome to 2021. If you are seated, you might stretch your arms out and just make sure if you can't touch anyone outside your pod, you are good to go. If you'd like to move to be more comfortable so that you keep your space, that's wonderful. You'll keep your masks on the whole time that we're here. Some of us on the chancel will take our masks off while we're speaking, but we'll put them on again when we go to greet you afterward in the receiving line. Our choir is back today. I want to tell you that our choir is 100% vaccinated and they are remaining masked while they sing. We are grateful that they are willing to be with us and to sing under less than ideal circumstances, and you will be grateful too when you hear them, I believe. We are not singing yet as a congregation all together, so we'll sway or feel the music in our bodies. I think that's all I have to say. We're going to start our service in just a few moments. Our folks watching online are watching our pre-service video, and then we will begin. So good to be together.
Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. Whether this is your first time or your millionth, and whether you're here in person today or joining us virtually, we welcome you to bring your whole self, just as you are, into this community. Today is October 24th, and it is going to be a great day. Do you know why it is going to be a great day? Because we are going to have ice cream for lunch. So we hope everyone can join us for the ice cream social and tailgate picnic at 12:30 today after the second service right over here in the parking lot. And please note, due to the big event, there will be no virtual coffee after the second service today. I think most of you would agree that any day here in this beautiful space is a great day. But it wasn't always like that for me. My first day here in this, my first service here in this building, it was not a great day. It was a terrible day. I was struggling with depression and anxiety, and my wife and I came to this community looking for help. We were immediately embraced and welcomed by this community of love, this community of light, this community of hope. And slowly, I healed with the help from all of you. I'm in a much better place today. So I hope everyone will join us for the ice cream social at 12:30 today and dive into this community. Come out and talk to your old friends and make new friends. And if you see me, please come by and say hello. I'll be very easy to spot because I'll be the one with the chocolate ice cream all over my face. Have a blessed day.
Tommy, thank you so much for that welcome and that testimony for what this community can mean. And thank you, choir, for that music. It is so good to have you back. I will tell you all, at 9:15, Rev CTC and I had not heard the choir, and Greg had to have the tissues ready. I mean, it was like waterworks up here. It is beautiful to be together. Our choir asked us this morning, how can I keep from singing? Leonard Cohen tells us, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Friends, the light is getting in this morning. Our gathering is not perfect, but we know better than to look for perfection. We seek here not perfection, but connection, relationship, love, each other. Through these long months, we have remembered that in the words of Teresa Ninan Soto, all of us need all of us to make it. I need you. You perhaps need me. Certainly, we need us. This morning, we do what church does every Sunday morning. Remind ourselves that not only do we need each other, we have each other. Imperfect, connected, and always, even if only in our hearts, singing. Let us worship together.
I'll just move deeper into ceremony with ritual. Across the country this morning, congregations are lighting chalices. We are one of the UUA member congregations, and we light our chalice alongside them. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. In one voice, we light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world. This morning we have choir, we have handbells. Gosh, we're doing church right today. We also get to welcome new members into our tribe. We're welcoming people into our community that have decided this collective that's filled with hope and possibility belongs to them too. They promise to participate in and support the ministries of this church, and we are so glad that they want to be part of our collective. Will the new members please come forward? I also invite Sarah Masters, our Director of Congregational Life, to join us here on the chancel. Come on up. We have Liz Boniface, Tim Boniface, Dee Ellison, and Mary Alexander. Today, each one of you has chosen to embrace the spirit of love, welcome, and understanding that flows through this church. It's my hope that UCA becomes that beacon of light to illuminate your pathway through life. Please know, we welcome you to this community and we join you in this faith.
Ours is a free church. We have no creeds. Know that you are encouraged to bring your ideas and beliefs to this community to share with others. I invite you to join us in the religious search for meaning and purpose in life, informed by our individual beliefs and the traditions of Unitarian Universalism.
Will the members of the congregation please rise in body or spirit and respond with the words that are printed on the insert in your order of service? In one voice, we welcome you, as once we were welcomed ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive and will respect your inherent dignity, your ideas, and your vision in times when it is easy and in times when it is difficult. Please be seated. New members.
Knowing that we may not always live up to our ideals, we ask that you recognize our humanity.
And when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us to continue to carry the spirit of love. Congregation, we welcome you as equal members of this congregation, of this faith, and as partners on our shared spiritual joining. Sarah has a token of appreciation for each one of the members now. What we're offering them is a set of pins. They can go on their name tag or on their jacket or in their pocket. Thank you, Sarah. It's with great joy that we welcome you as new members of this community this morning. Will each one of you please take a moment to step right over here and sign the book before you leave the chancel? And in one voice, all of us should say, welcome.
Welcome.
I just want to sign right next to your name. Thank you, Sarah. Let's take a breath in and let that breath out. And again, in and let that breath out. Bring yourself right here in this space, in this time with these people. And join me, please, in the spirit of prayer. The prayer I have for you this morning was written by a colleague of mine. Reverend Violet is a UU minister serving the congregation in Norfolk, Virginia. She offers these words. Source of sources, let us open our hearts, still our minds, and enter a time of prayer and meditation. Let us call forth and hold in our hearts the stories of all who have come before us, the memories of those who are with us today, and the hope for tomorrow. Let us call forth and remember everything in our past and what will move us forward on the pathway. Let us be thankful for this opportunity for healing, forgiveness, and reconciliation, while knowing that we can never, should never forget what has brought us here today. Let us be glad that voice has not only been given to those whose sorrow and pain were their companions in faith, but that joy and laughter and stories told will be received, that there will be redemption, that there will be understanding among our tribe. Let us call upon the light that shines in each of us to give us the strength to walk together into the future and do the hard work that is necessary, work that begins today but does not end. Let us have the wisdom to lovingly have the conversations we need to have with each other, conversations we must have with each other in order to grow our faith, in order to provide radical love to one another, in order to be the welcoming, inclusive community that we all would like to be. Let us have the wisdom to do these things. Amen.
Folks, I invite you to breathe with me. It's a real gift to hear the sanctuary singers here today and just be surrounded by their voices. This morning's reading is from Listening for Our Song, Collected Meditations, Volume 4. And this passage is from Sarah York, who's an elder of our faith. I learned that Sarah was actually an interim minister here, 2003 to 2004, so some of you may remember her. Sarah's also a storyteller who writes at the intersection of the spiritual and the social. And this reading is entitled, Window or Aisle. Window or aisle? The man at the counter asked as I prepared to board the plane for Detroit. No matter how often I fly, I always pause to make the choice. To take a window seat means being able to get a God's eye view of the earth. But what if I want to go to the restroom? It's such a bother to have to ask people to move, and I don't like feeling trapped. My answer is always the same: window. To choose the window is to choose to see. Whether I am identifying a river or marveling at the play of moonlight on the ocean. Whether the view is a patchwork of planted fields, a city showing off its neon finery, or a comforter of clouds, I am filled with a deep sense of awe. Sometimes, as the plane moves through a storm, breaking through the clouds and into the sun, my own spirit opens up to invite in the expanse of beauty. There is always something to see, always something I have never seen before. Knowing that to choose the window is an invitation to beauty, awe, and wonder. That is even an opportunity to break through the cloudiness of my own spirit. Why do I always pause to make the decision? Each time we get a seat on a plane, we are invited to choose to be touched by the world or to remain complacent and take it for granted. We are invited to choose beauty or fear, vision or convenience. Each day of our lives, in fact, we are given the choice, window or aisle. Something inside me will always pause before I choose, but I think I'll take the window.
That was the debut of UUCA's brand spanking new multi-generational band. Woo! I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I also love a good metaphor. Marcia McPhee, who is a ritual artist and worship leader, has a cute word for the practice that many ministers have of looking for metaphors in our daily lives that we can later use in worship. She calls it metaphoraging. Always be metaphoraging. Actually, Rev CTC, I get the sense that we both like a good metaphor.
Lots of foraging.
Yeah. You should hear our conversations sometimes. You know, Rev CTC, do you have a stapler in your office? Yes, and I will bind together your papers as we bind together the community. It's beautiful. It's really long conversations. Beautiful. So I love a good metaphor, which is why I was inspired by the theme that our wonderful capital campaign team came up with this year, Operation Liftoff. We have been talking and thinking about what this moment felt like. This moment at UUCA, as we are beginning to gather again in person, as we are reinventing church yet again, as Rev CTC and I are settling in, Greg's beginning his journey, the staff's creating things beyond our imagining. And we felt as though we were ready for liftoff, ready to soar, almost. The image is of a hot air balloon. You know, after they've inflated the balloon part, have you ever seen that? The gorgeous rainbow colors are filling the sky. The basket, though, is still attached to the ground. It's straining on the ropes even, but it's not flying yet. That moment, full of possibility, not yet completely realized, that's what this feels like to me. A moment of potential. Because we realized, as we thought about the idea of lifting off, almost ready to soar, that there were things we needed to do first as a congregation. Ways to get ready. We have come out of a challenging time, which affected each of us differently. Some of us are ready to be back fully in person. Others are staying online for a while. All of us are trying to figure out how to navigate this new hybrid world, which is why before we lift off, we need to reconnect, recharge, and prepare for relaunch.
Rev Amanda's right. There's a lot of metaphors back there in that minister's corner. We staple together community. We bind our hearts and spirits. It made me think about what are the words that pull me forward. And it also made me think about the power of a slogan. I like a good slogan, especially one that calls a mental image into my mind's eye. So I want you to play along with me just for a moment. Close your eyes if you're comfortable at home. Close your eyes. And listen to these words, slogans. 7-Up, the Uncola. Got milk? Just do it. Wheaties, the breakfast of champions. Bet you can't eat just one. And lastly, remember Clara, where's the beef? When I first heard the moniker that was attached to Renewed, reigniting this capital campaign, open your eyes again. Operation Liftoff. When I first heard Operation Liftoff, I was a little bit puzzled, and I had some questions. What did it mean? How did it connect to UUCA? And then I had a practical question. What was I going to possibly say about church life and social justice that would support Operation Liftoff? Where was the beef in the slogan for me? My thoughts started coming together, and then I got really excited when I found out Reconnect, Recharge, and Relaunch were also part of the theme. And then on October 16th, the best metaphor ever dropped right into our lives in a very meaningful, muddy, messy kind of way. Well, it actually kind of rolled in, splashed in, and we waded and crawled into the metaphor. Rev Amanda and I spent a Saturday morning sloshing through what's called a Tough Mudder. Some of you may know what a Tough Mudder is. We are now intimately familiar. So intimately familiar with what a Tough Mudder is. For you that don't know, a Tough Mudder is on a racetrack in southern Maryland. It's muddy, it's damp, it's wet, and we do it for fun. And we pay money to do it.
We did.
We did. We each paid a chunk of change to have fun in the mud. And the Tough Mudder itself was
hard,
bruising,
silly,
wet,
messy,
really hilarious,
inspiring,
good dirty fun. That ordeal where that experience embraced the idea of reconnection and recharging and relaunching from its beginning on Saturday morning to the naps we had on Saturday afternoon. There we were, 8 UU women ministers in our purple shirts ready to get dirty. We ranged in age from late 30s to early 60s. We ranged in levels of fitness from, well, basically non-existent fitness to the multiple times a week Uber cross-fitting kind of fitness. That wasn't not us.
Not us. Someone else.
Some of us knew each other really well. Some of us knew each other in name only and as colleagues from Facebook. It only took one big hill, one big obstacle that put us on our bellies crawling through the muck and the mess to connect us, though. The faster folks slowed down and waited for the slower ones. The stronger ones reached back and helped the weak ones. All of us started to get charged up. There was even a moment when someone started counting off after every challenge to make sure that we, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because we were a team now, that we stayed together. The connection was quick. It was deep. It was muddy and meaning-filled. Team Spirit, that was our team name, because you know ministers, Spirit.
You know ministers.
You know ministers. And our shirts actually had a little flame on them, like a chalice flame. But I digress. Team Spirit took flight. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen with social justice here at UUCA too. Groups are already reconnecting, gathering online and in person. Small meetings are happening in person too. Folks are recharging. They're participating in events like the Rainbow Crosswalk dedication. And we have ARAO, anti-racism, anti-oppression classes in Faith 360 this fall. I've been talking to our members and leaders of the social action projects with an eye towards relaunching the Secret Santa Project and finding a way to interconnect our efforts. In January, we're going to launch a social justice newsletter that will help people connect, hopefully on a one-to-one or one-to-group basis quickly. We'll actually have a document that says, this Saturday we're doing this, next Friday we're doing this, on February 14th we're going to embrace love and Valentine's Day and do this thing too. It'll be easy, it'll be electronic, and everyone will know what's happening with social justice here. That ongoing work that connects us is getting recharged too.
That idea of reconnecting and recharging definitely happened for me at the Tough Mudder 5K. Our cheer as a team was, we're keeping our joints safe. We went slow.
Slow.
But it was an experience of recharging, of finding my energy filled up. It's amazing, actually, to have more energy after 2 hours in the mud than you did at the beginning. although Rev CTC's right, the afternoon was kind of a sleepy haze. I think so much of that recharging, outside of the electric shock obstacle, of course, which finished the course and offered literal recharging, so much of that recharging is that we were doing it together. My favorite obstacles that day were the ones that were literally impossible to do alone. The strongest person in the world couldn't both turn the crank and get over the wall. They had to depend on other people to turn while they slipped over, and then they had to turn right back around and do the turning for someone else. That's what congregational life is, too. Certainly what congregational leadership is. This past year, perhaps we have felt that we are on our own, in our own tiny little pods, sometimes even pods of one. We had to figure out how to make that work, how to stay connected as possible despite the necessity of apartness. Now we are figuring out how to make it over obstacles together, especially the obstacles that require all of us. And that shared work is recharging us. It's giving us power and life. Switching back to that hot air balloon metaphor, the recharge, I think it's the fire needed to fill the balloon. You know, you cannot launch a hot air balloon without at least 2 crew members, one in the basket lighting the fire, and then one on the ground untying those ropes, following along in a car to be ready when the balloon comes down. And most of the time, there are many more people involved in getting a balloon in the air, in watching it as it goes. We need each other for the flight that is coming. And part of what we need to relaunch is to untie the ropes keeping us from liftoff, to untether ourselves from what is holding us back. The mortgage, yes, sure, as believe me, as the person who helps to build the budget, I would love to be untethered from that particular rope, to have the freedom of directing all of our budget toward mission. But it's also about untying the ropes of doubt, of fear, untying the ropes of we can't accomplish that or we've never tried that before, untying the ropes of systemic racism, of heteronormativity, of you're welcome here as long as you act like us. And remember, we need all of us to do that. We need all of us to relaunch and lift off.
Sounds like we have work to do, doesn't it? To reconnect, to recharge, to relaunch, to safely step out of our pandemic pods and keep moving towards each other safely, to spark the divine fire that lies within each one of us, to work together to untie those ropes Rev Amanda mentioned, the ropes of doubt, of fear, of systemic racism, of heteronormativity. Gosh, it sounds like we have work to do. But that work's exciting, and it's going to be transformative. On the 16th, during the Tough Mudder, as the morning wore on, I had to stop frequently, to catch my breath. Initially, what I would do is just step to the side of the pathway and let people pass me by. I'd close my eyes, I'd bend over at the waist, I'd put my hands on my knees, and I was panting. I was literally out of breath. It helped, slowly. Eventually, I'd get my wind back, I'd stand up, and a member of Team Spirit would be at my side, and we would press on, keep on the pathway, go to the next obstacle. But I have to tell you all, it was unsettling, and it was a little bit embarrassing that I was the one that had to keep stopping, that I was standing next to the pathway. I had to get off of the path, put my hands on my knees, lean over at the waist, and try to catch my breath. And then something happened. Something that if I had thought about who we were and what we were doing, I would have expected, but I was too busy trying to breathe to expect anything. What happened was one of my teammates said, "Carol, stand up when you need air. Don't lean over. Raise your arms up, open your eyes, look ahead." Shortly after that, a total stranger who obviously was really fit, had done the mutter before, unlike me, said the same thing. Stand up. Open your eyes. Look forward. Listening to them made an enormous difference. My timeouts on the side of the path became bonuses instead of embarrassments. I was able to change what was mostly feeling awful into something much, much more fun. And that only happened because other folks helped me and cheered me on. I think that's what I think about with social activism, social justice work here at UUCA. Stand up. Breathe deeply. Look at what lies ahead. If we can weave our efforts together and cheer our committed volunteers on, there is so much we can do here at UUCA. We've already started much of that. We're supporting the Buckingham community, the Randolph School, and students in Guatemala. We're fighting for LGBTQ justice and rights. We're heavily invested in dismantling racism and white supremacy. I think the key for liftoff, standing up, breathing deeply, looking ahead. I think the key for liftoff is going to be emphasizing how these things intersect, and then adding a few new things, and then taking all those great steps forward together.
It's good advice. Open your eyes. Look ahead of you. Choose the window seat.
Choose the window seat.
Since I started here almost 15 months ago, folks have been asking me what I imagine for UUCA, what my vision is. I know they've been asking Rev CTC the same thing since she arrived. And as many of you know, I have been asking you right back, well, what is your vision? I spent a lot of my first year listening, learning your history, understanding how things have been done here at UUCA, even while reimagining them for the pandemic, which gave both freedom and uncertainty. Getting to know Arlington, soaking in the staff's wisdom. But Rev CTC, she got good advice. We've got to look ahead and choose the window seat. And now that I have had a little time here, I can see a beautiful vista ahead. A beautiful vista with a lot of potential. Now, it's kind of funny to think about a congregation with UUCA's history and energy and generosity as being full of potential. Isn't that for like congregations that are just starting out? But that feels right. That with all UUCA has been, all it has to be proud of, it could be even more. So here is what I imagine. A community that invites us to live differently, to relate to each other in countercultural ways that both honor our individuality and underscore our shared humanity. A community that helps to shape Arlington County, that is known in our neighborhood for showing up every time and for being in deep partnership. Conveniently, that's the approach that Rev CTC brings to justice work. It's like it worked out somehow that way.
How about that?
A community that understands that the first step in diversity and multicultural engagement is a commitment to anti-racism and anti-oppression work. A community that is multi-generational in ways rarely found in the world around us, especially in the transitory DC area. A community that knows that how we are together is more important than what we do. A community that bases our work in mission, in connection, and in love. As we come together, reconnecting, recharging, getting ready to relaunch, that is the community I imagine lifting off together. We have the right people here to make it happen. And you know what? Then we're going to welcome some more new people, and then they are going to be the right people here to make it happen. And so on, and so on, and so on. We've just got to stick together, to learn from each other, to keep our heads up, and choose the window seat. Then, let's get ready to fly.
Thank you again to the sanctuary singers. It's really wonderful to have these voices saturating our space today. I just want to let it finish resonating in my body and my spirit. This October, our Share the Plate recipient is the UUCA Social Justice Projects Fund. As most of you know, UUCA has a rich history of taking action for social justice in our community. And I'm new here, but it's been wonderful to meet all of you and just hold a deep gratitude for the work that you're doing in this community for justice. It's an essential part of our faith and our life together. And acting for social justice is a way to reconcile our ethics in the world. Your gifts today will be used to support UUCA's small social justice activities or pilot programs, such as chartering a bus to rally for justice advocacy, or purchasing ingredients to prepare meals for the unhoused, or sponsoring our National Coming Out Day and Rainbow Crosswalk celebration, which was earlier this month. Please know that the offering will be split. 70% goes directly toward the UUCA Social Justice Projects Fund, and 30% supports our ongoing work as a community. Your offering allows UUCA to assist and enrich the lives of others. And we want to make it simple for you to give, so you can easily offer help by using one of the methods listed in your order of service and on our website at www.uucava.org. Again, thank you for your support. We're very grateful. And if the ushers could take the collection. Thank you, Savannah, and musicians. That was wonderful. Ushers could come forward. So your offering today is a really important way for us to transfer resources in support of our programs, and thank you again. Please join me in our offering blessing. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Thank you.
Your love lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love keep on lifting higher, higher and higher. I said your love keep on lifting me higher and higher. Listen, now once I was downhearted. Disappointment was my closest friend. But then you came and he soon departed. And you know he never showed his face again. That's why your
Last
love.
time. Oh no, we're fading. I'm just singing now. Now it's just me. Woo! All right, it's just me. Friends, I am so delighted to introduce, though you may know them already, Denise Kapler and McGinnis Williams. As you know, perhaps Denise was part of our capital campaign team last year, and McGinnis has joined her. We have an amazing team coming together, and I am so grateful for their dedication to this congregation and for their vision for what we can become together. So, without further ado, Denise and McGinnis are now going to do a karaoke version. No, that's not true. I'm just going to talk to you.
No karaoke, no slides. Good morning, or now good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for such a beautiful service. I was so inspired to hear the choir and the handbells and the band. It's so nice to have everybody back together again. The band back together again, as we've been saying. And also inspired by the vision outlined by Rev CTC and Rev Amanda this morning. What we are UUCA's stewardship team. And sometimes people ask me, what is stewardship? And you heard it this morning. The choir sang, "We shall care for each other." That is what we are doing. And to help make this possible, right, we are having a capital campaign. Some of you already know about it because we started it before we had to put a pause in March of 2020. We are back in person. We are back to complete the campaign and to finish the job that we started, which is to pay off the mortgage for this beautiful building, and to replenish our savings that we've had to draw down on during this time. So I want to say a brief word of welcome to Marcia Meehan. Marcia's in the back here. Many of you met her back in 2020 when she joined us and helped us with the first part of the campaign. And the most important thing for me to say is an enormous thank you to all of you who have already helped us. We are more than halfway to achieving our goal. We have raised $2.2 million towards our goal already. And we're so close. This is such an achievable goal. And we are really excited to share more details with you when we talk to you in person.
The heartbeat of this campaign is the visits. We have a bunch of volunteers who are going to be reaching out to you to schedule visits, and when they do, please say yes. We've all been through the mud of the pandemic, and we want to catch up. We want to reconnect. And while we can't all be together here right now, we can still be together through our visits. We want to ask, how are you? what's going on with you, what's happening with you, what is your connection with UUCA like right now. So when one of the visitors calls, and by the way, if you would like to join us, visitors, we'd love to have you. We're a fun group. And so when one of our visitors calls you to schedule a visit, we invite you to just say yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're back here.
We're back here. Together. Together, may we find connection and reconnection in this year of challenge.
Together, may we build community and create safe spaces where all can find a home.
Together, may we learn, laugh, live, and embrace belonging.
And may we discover together the power of love to lift us higher.
Your love has lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. Your love has lifted me higher, so I'll be at your side forevermore. And once I was downhearted, disappointments were my closest friends. And you came and sat down beside me, and they never showed the face again. Your love is lifting me. Your love is lifting me, lifting me higher and higher, higher. Your love is lifting me. Your love is lifting me, lifting me higher and higher. I'm so glad you finally found me. You're the one in a million you. And when you wrap your arms around me, it makes me so glad that I'm you. Your love has lifted me higher than I've ever been in before. Your love has lifted me higher than I've ever lifted before.
Right. All the muscles tighten up. And then by the third set, everyone's roaring. Yeah, right. That up, down. Yeah. Anyway, so this is my second set. Yeah. Right. Like, even, I noticed last week too, like, the pool of the church starts to kind of tighten you up. Yeah. And you're here for like, wow, sitting for another hour between services. It's not a hot place. Yeah. Yeah, I had to like, I was kind of doing, it's bad visual, but I kind of did this for a while.